A lunar eclipse is like a potent, powerful full moon, illuminating areas of our lives that need to be cleared and swept away, reminding us that if something exits during this time, it was meant to be. Starcasting to you from the City of Angels. Hello everyone, I'm Kiris. Thank you so much for being here and listening to the Voice of Astrology podcast. This is your astrology cosmic superpower for the week beginning Sunday, March 9th through Saturday, March 15th, 2025. Let's journey together with astrology and explore how to connect with the stars, the planets, the energies for our new week ahead. Our marvelous March evening sky brings us Venus visible throughout the month of March. She moves to a morning star by the end of the month. She's been spectacularly brilliant and bright in the evening sky. Really enjoy the jewel in the night sky before she changes to a morning star. On Sunday, March 9th, it is spring forward time, daylight savings time again. Our sunsets occur 1 minute later each day until the spring vernal equinox. Also beginning Sunday, March 9th through the 12th of March, Mercury rises a bit higher in the evening sky over the next few evenings as Mercury approaches and lines up evenly with Venus. Now from the 8th through the 10th, you can see Mercury off to the lower left of Venus. By March 11th, Mercury and Venus are not only lined up together, but they are the nearest to each other. March 13th and 14th, depending on your time zone, we have a total eclipse of the moon. And this one is the only lunar eclipse of 2025 that is visible from North America. As we start off our new week ahead in astrology, the 7 original planets first used in astrology, or the OGs as I call them, that you can see without aid of binoculars or telescope, just like the first original astrologers did, they are lined up as such. We've got the sun in mutable water Pisces, ruled by Jupiter. Our moon, she's at home in Cancer in her castle, her domicile. Mercury is in cardinal fire Aries. Venus is in her detriment in Aries. Mars is in its fall placement of Cancer. Jupiter in Gemini is in its detriment, Gemini ruled by Mercury, and Saturn is in Pisces, Pisces being ruled by Jupiter. Sunday, March 9th, the moon is at home in Cancer, all cozy and comfy. The moon in Cancer makes a water trine flow to Saturn in Pisces, a sextile to the planet Uranus in Taurus, and another water trine flow to Neptune in Pisces. This feeling of being at home, safe, secure, cozy, comfortable. The moon in Cancer, as we start off the week, is not wanting to step back into the drama, as later on in the evening, the moon enters fiery fixed Leo. The energy is condensing, it's intensifying. We're several days away from the exact moment of that full moon lunar eclipse. Moon at home in Cancer, as we start off the week, is very reluctant to come out of its protective crab shell and risk getting its very sensitive feelings hurt again. Moon in Cancer is all about the happy memories. This is the moon, self-care, the comfort of family, friends, love, and familiarity. Moon in Cancer is all about our love for home and family. Later on in the afternoon, the moon does move into fixed fire Leo and makes an opposition to Pluto in fixed air Aquarius. The family drama begins. Someone in your family, whether it's blood relatives, friends, your community, feels like they are not being paid enough attention, that they are being treated coldly, aloofly. Monday, the moon's day, we still have the moon in fixed fire Leo, making a fire trine flow to Mercury in Aries. Venus in its detriment of Aries, and a sextile to Jupiter in its detriment in Gemini. As we are now in very strong, intense, waxing gibbous moon phase, discussions and talks around should we stay together, should we break up, should we put on hold for the moment if possible, and or at the very least handled with a lot of respect and love, as Mercury is entering its shadow storm phase and Venus, the planet of love and relationship, is retrograde in its detriment. Also the moon in Leo making that sextile to Jupiter in its detriment in Gemini ruled by Mercury. This is keep it as even keel, calm, respectful, and not have the conversation at all if possible. Wait for a more auspicious time. With the moon in Leo, someone is feeling like they are not getting the recognition, that they are not being paid enough attention to. So acknowledge, give the attention, but be careful of the words. Nothing has to be decided right now. That will come later, but not for right now on Monday, the Moon's Day. Tuesday, March 11th, Mercury enters its storm shadow cycle and starts to slow down. Mercury and Venus are lined up together on the same plane in the night sky, the closest that they are to each other. You can go outside and see this for yourself. We have the free will and choice to try to be a little bit more patient, a little less reactive, to listen more, be more attentive. The moon is still in Leo, making a fire trine flow to Chiron, the wounded healer, in Aries. The moon also is making inconjunct adjustments to the sun in Pisces and Saturn in Pisces. Then the moon in Leo makes a square aspect of action to Uranus in Taurus. Mercury makes a conjunction to Venus that again you can see with your own eyes. And the moon in Leo makes an inconjunct aspect of adjustments and little changes that mean so much to Neptune in Pisces. As a professional astrologer that has done hundreds, thousands of readings through the years, the number one concern that men and husbands say to me in a reading about their partner, spouse, significant other, it's never that they've grown a little older, they've put on a few pounds. It is always, without exception, the way she talks to me. Think words do not have power? You may want to reconsider that as Mercury has entered its shadow storm cycle and getting ready to station retrograde. With Venus retrograde, the planet of love and beauty, retrograde in its detriment, as we see for ourselves Mercury and Venus together in the night sky before Venus changes into a morning star. Venus is in a warrior, combative sign of the zodiac, Venus in Aries ruled by Mars. Our feminine energy, which is to not only feel good ourselves, but to make someone else feel good, to feel great. Whether you're a man or a woman, whether your partner, your spouse, is a man or a woman, this Mercury-Venus meeting up in the night sky in signs that are very combative, to say the least. This is about thinking and being more aware of what we say and how we say it and how it makes the person that we supposedly love more than anything in the cosmos. How are you making the other person feel by how and what and the way you say things? This is for everybody. Words don't have power. Of course they do. They have the power to lift up and elevate, or the power with Mercury and Venus in Aries to destroy. You've all been at the receiving end of this as well. How do you feel when someone speaks to you like you're cosmic garbage and not worth anything? Wednesday, March 12th, we now have the waxing gibbous almost full in Mercury ruled Virgo, mutable earth, cool, dry Virgo. Mercury ruled Virgo, where Mercury in Virgo is its exaltation and domicile placement. Virgo does not miss a flicker of your eyelash without noticing. Virgo is very attentive to the tiniest detail that means so much, especially what you say and how you say it. You may want to choose your words very carefully on this day, because after the moon enters Mercury-ruled Virgo, the sun in Pisces makes a conjunction to Saturn in Pisces. The cosmos is shining a gigantic spotlight right before the exact moment of this full moon total lunar eclipse in Virgo. How the tiniest of detail, especially in the area of communication, will bring that Sun-Saturn ending. And when Saturn ends something, it's final. The greater malefic, Saturn, is meeting up with the life force, the vitality, the sun, and how it expresses itself and shines its light. How many times have you taken for granted, oh, they'll take me back, the situation will work itself out? Or how many times has that happened to you? And then there's one word said, Saturn conjunct the sun, and the wake-up call, the realist, Saturn, that doesn't play. It is what it is. The Saturn conjunct the sun, that is that awareness of where the lies and the delusions have been taking place, is the final reality wake-up call that it is eclipsed, it is over. Have you ever had a relationship, a job situation, a love relationship, where someone has said something to you and you still don't let it go? Thursday, March 13th, we have this full moon eclipse in the sign of Virgo at 23 degrees, ruled by Mercury. The moon in Virgo on this day makes square to Jupiter in its detriment in Gemini, a sextile to Mars in its fall of Cancer, an inconjunct aspect to Chiron, the wounded healer, in Aries. The moon in Virgo makes an opposition aspect to Saturn in Pisces, the opposition being the separating goodbye aspect, time to break up. And then, of course, we have this total lunar eclipse, the only one visible in North America for 2025. Find out where this lunar eclipse is very specifically, because Virgo is very precise and specific, about where this full moon lunar eclipse is taking place in your personal astrology chart. This will show you where over the next several months something that hasn't been working, isn't working in your life, is going to be eclipsed out of your life. It's time. Virgo is the sign of self-reliance and corresponds to the stage of development in our life where we're out on our own, attending to the practical Virgo matters of life, like getting a job, making money, paying bills, all the things that we do when we leave home, but before we get married. Self-reliance. Virgo pays attention and attends to the practical matters of life that we need, our survival, our health. Virgo is a health sign. That means so much because, again, we have to do these things in a practical, earth, smart, Virgo, Mercury, intelligent, smart way, because survival, health, and moving forward depends on these things getting done. The full moon in Virgo is accepting the full light of the sun being in Pisces. The sun highlighting for us, where have you been avoiding? Where have you been perhaps in escape patterns? I don't want to deal with this. I'm just going to stay in my fantasy dream world, procrastinate with what needs to be dealt with. Pisces, it's too upsetting, it's too emotional, can't deal. That kind of illumination with this full moon of basically where you've been in denial and feel that you are not strong enough. And of course you are, but the feeling that you are not strong enough to attend to the very essential, necessary particulars of life, this is what the full moon is illuminating with the eclipse. And one of the most essential particulars, details of Virgo that can and will be eclipsed in your life is the essential time, the necessary time to say goodbye. This doesn't work. It isn't working. It isn't good for your health. You can't deny it any longer. You're not able to pretend or escape or say to yourself, I'm not strong enough. I can't look at this situation. This full moon is highlighting this for us in a very common sense, practical, down to earth way, Virgo, that doesn't miss a trick, as showing us, illuminating for us, it doesn't work. End it right after the Sun conjunct Saturn, which means that not only the eclipse, but Saturn will remove something, someone, some situation in your life whose time has come. It's time to walk away and say goodbye. It will be eclipsed. It's something that is being shown to us because it's very difficult to pretend or not see a full moon and then see the total light of the moon go dark. That's pretty much impossible not to see. That's like one of us saying, that's like the average person walking around, going about their business, doesn't know about astrology, couldn't care about astrology or what's happening in the cosmos, and saying like, hey, look, Mar, did you notice the moon just went dark? It just got completely blackened out. You can't miss noticing that the moon just got dimmed, blackened out, no matter who you are, where you are. Oh, the moon just went away. What does that mean? What's that all about? It's not like it's something that we see all the time and every day of the week. Okay, the moon just disappeared and blacked out. All right, okay, whatever. We don't need 5-hour lectures and dissertations on the fact that I just saw the moon disappear. Okay, whatever. Don't harsh my mellow. Happens every day of the week. Friday, Venus's day, March 14th. Now Mercury stations retrograde. The moon is in Libra, ruled by Venus. Mercury is going retrograde. And the moon in Libra makes a lovely air trine flow, which is a triangle supportive to Pluto in fixed air Aquarius. All of this, the eclipse, the Mercury stationing retrograde, the moon trine Pluto, which is supportive, is giving us a chance to take a breath, air, slow down, and really think things through. A full moon, whether it's an eclipse or not, will always try to highlight for us that there is something very important and serious to take a deeper look at. With this one, it really highlights why you are putting up with what may seem to be such a small, inconsequential thing, but it really is huge. What's little is big. What's really big sometimes is actually very small. But with this one in Virgo, with some time, Mercury retrograde to slow down, pay attention to what has compiled. And it's just one small thing after another, and you're finally done. It's time for it to be over, especially when it affects the health. Virgo is a health component. So when something that may seem like a little tiny thing that you've been putting up with forever, but now it's starting to affect how you feel, your energy, your vitality, the sun. You've put off looking at it, dealing with it. I just don't want to deal. This kind of thing. Well, now when it's finally the eclipse, and it involves Virgo at 23 degrees, which is the third decadent division of a Virgo-Taurus influence. Something you love, something you value, meaning yourself, your talents, and your values. And something has been chipping away at it, picking away at it, criticizing it, putting too many demands of perfection, of it's not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. This full moon in Virgo, again, is where you have given up perhaps and or put up for too long with something that has been chipping away at what you really love. This is the third division of the 23 degrees Virgo. Mercury retrograde always gives us this wonderful opportunity to go back, redo, reflect. What did I miss there? What small detail was I not paying attention to, or have not spent time paying attention to it and looking much more closely at what's really going on? Saturday, March 15th, beware the Ides of March. We've got the moon in Libra making an opposition to Venus in Aries. Libra wants peace of mind, balance, love, and beauty. Moon in Libra then makes an opposition to Mercury in Aries and an air trine flow to Jupiter in mutable air Gemini. The moon is what we need. It's essential. It's not what you want. It's what you need. You may not want food, air, and water, but you need food, air, and water. In other words, the moon is what we need. If we don't feed our moon, as I say all the time, if we don't feed our moon, then the moon is also lunacy, the crazies, the irrational fears and anxieties. When the nighttime shows up, the moon shines in the night. So a midnight conversation with ourselves is very different than a noontime sunlight conversation we have with ourselves. All of the fears and the memories, or the crazies as I call them, is the moon. Now, the moon in Libra again is that need. It's essential for peace of mind, for beauty, for love, for relationship, for togetherness. We are not wired to go it alone. Libra is very mindful of considering all different sides to a situation before it makes the final balanced decision, because Libra wants everything, moon in Libra wants everything to be fair and balanced, with everybody hopefully happy about whatever decision is going to be made. Libra can take forever trying to make that final decision before the decision is made, but we're closing out the week with the moon making oppositions to Venus and Mercury in combative Aries, and then an air trine flow to Jupiter, yes, in its detriment, in the sign of Gemini. So it might not be spoken of yet, stated outwardly yet, with the moon trine Jupiter in its detriment, but that's a very supportive aspect as far as helping you or highlighting for you that yes, you're on the pathway to making the final decision that you are at peace with, and that brings you peace. Thank you, everyone. Have a fabulous week. I will see you all in the stars.